I would never invest or install these things in my living room or family room, some of you call it the common room, if I were to put my house on the market. And why in the world should you listen to me? Because I make a lot of mistakes, but I learn from my mistakes. And also, I'm one of the top selling agents in Orange County, California. And by the way, if you're looking for a good agent, I'm for hire. You can contact me right here. But I get to hear what buyers are saying. I get to hear what sellers say. Oh my gosh, I wish I never would have done that. So we have a lot to cover today. I don't want any of you to make any of these mistakes, especially if you're considering putting your house on the market and you're thinking, maybe I should invest in these things. And the answer is no. Avoid these things at all costs. All right, we got a lot to cover. I'm gonna go really fast. Let's get into it. Okay, the first mistake, and I see it in a lot of homes, just don't do this, and that's where you place the TV over the fireplace mantle, and it's just too dang high. I made this really rookie mistake, and honestly, I'm gonna blame my husband on this because I never watch TV, like never. And so I let him figure out the TV placement with the TV guy, and he thought it would be cool to be in the kitchen, standing up and seeing the TV, but he's never in the kitchen. And when you go to sit down, it's just too dang high. So you can see, okay, so for perspective, I'm 5'5", okay? Oh my gosh, look how cute my skirt is. But anyway, look how high this is. It's too high. So to correct the problem, I'm gonna have to rip the mantle out, drop the TV down. Such a nightmare, okay? It looks awful. And then, you know, it's just not a comfortable place to sit or enjoy your time. The second mistake that I made is creating this little bench/ledge, okay? Should never have done this. So I have hardwood floors in here, and for me to remove this, I have to put new hardwood floors in to get rid of the stupid bench thing. I thought it would be really cool to sit here and like, you know, enjoy the conversation, sit by the fireplace. This is way too much information, but I used to be really cold before menopause. And my husband and my son were always running about 10 degrees hotter than me, and we'd always fight about the temperature. So I thought this would be a really good solution. I could come in here and just bask in the fireplace and its warmth. This is an absolute no-no. Don't do this. I have to take this out, drop the mantle down, or take the mantle down, and then obviously bring the TV down. This is called mistake. Now, also, if you notice, I have shiplap that I line the entire back walls. Another mistake, and you can see I actually put it on the riser here too. It looks horrible. It's just way too busy. Don't do this. Do not do this. All right, some of you are gonna comment about the glare on the TV. I know I have this big light that I'm recording right now because it's kind of late at night. But anyway, sorry, can't do anything about it. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, the third mistake that I see a lot of homeowners making right now, and you think it's all cool because you go to Costco and you see these huge TVs, and you create your family room around these huge mega TVs, like it's a whole wall of TV. And then all your furniture is really positioned to watch that TV. And it's just not intimate. It's not a great design style. I don't love it. Your buyers don't love it. It's just not, I hate to say this, but it's just not classy. It's, you know, when you're in your family room, you should enjoy the company there, but it shouldn't be the only place where you zone out and watch the boob tube, okay? You're gonna start seeing this trend go bye-bye. And I know a lot of you don't love this, and you're thinking, oh, we're not listening to her. She doesn't watch TV anyway. Hey, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. And just from a design perspective, I just don't think it's aesthetically pleasing. Number 4 is do not invest in the cloud sofa or these oversized sectionals. You guys love to do that. And I know because I'm selling your homes. And you put that big TV on the whole big back wall, and you're like, oh, I don't know, what should we do here? I know. Let's buy a cloud sofa or a super large sectional. I hate that. It closes off the room, makes the room look a lot smaller than it is. And then I don't know what it is about those sectionals or that cloud sofa, but it's screaming at you like, lounge on me, be lazy, come watch TV. And a lot of you get pulled into that, and you're like laying on the cloud sofa or the sectional, and all your human oils are going into the couch. It smells weird. They're dirty. I don't know. I was just raised like you sit on a couch and you lounge in your room, and like, why are we lounging everywhere? I don't know. But anyway, that's just me being fussy. But when I go to sell your homes, those couches kind of smell, they always look dirty. And then when we go to show the home, that room looks so much smaller than it actually is. So I would definitely stay away from anything oversized, and it should also be the same at McDonald's. We don't do supersize anything or jumbo size or size up or whatever they say. I don't eat McDonald's either. But I do eat Burger King. Burger King's my favorite. I swear, I love Burger King, the Whopper with cheese and onions. My fave. Okay, here I am lounging on my white couch. Okay, no. So the mistake number 5 that I see a lot of you making is you love the color white, and I do too. And I have a white sofa, and I have to wash it all the time. It looks beautiful in photos. I'm just telling you, if you're selling your home, you may buy a white sofa, but don't ever sit in it. So I love it, but if you have a white sofa and you go to sell your home and it looks all dirty, it's just kind of weird and cringy. So I wouldn't recommend buying a white sofa, even though I have 3 in my house and I love it. But I'm not going to lie, we don't lounge on our sofas and my family gets really mad at me. Don't do it. So do you have a favor to ask? Please subscribe to this channel. Trying to get to 150,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And yeah, I'm really impatient. I'm impatient. It helps get the algorithm to notice me and push my content out. I just really want to educate consumers, whether you're buying or selling a home across the nation. And I can't tell you how blessed I am to hear your comments and to hear your success stories. Oh, and by the way, I do have a free resource kit. I will link it in the description down below. You can download it. It's for free. And we go over things like my recommended paint colors, flooring options, lighting recommendations, staging checklists, home inspection checklists. Probably the most powerful thing in here is the questions that you should be asking your listing or buyer's agent. It's really important that you interview, I would say 2 or 3 different agents. And if you don't know who to interview, I have a referral network. I can link it right here. We can give you a few agents that you can interview, but please get those agents in ahead of time. Don't just call them up and say, ready to list my house, can you come on over? You want to get them involved early on in the process. I don't want you to be in a rush. Don't forget to download your free resource guide. It's linked down below in the description box. Number 6 is accent walls. I wouldn't put accent walls, whether it be paint. In my room, I use Shiplap. I hate it. I should never have done it. It's too busy. But I'm mainly talking about that paint where you just paint one wall, one color. A lot of you do that in your family rooms. You think it adds a little interest, a little punch of color. So I don't like punch of color when it comes to things that aren't easily remedied. So painting over an accent wall, especially the dark ones, it takes a lot of coats and the buyers don't want to deal with it. And also you have to remember when you're selling your house, neutral is your friend. And I don't want to argue about my paint colors, but I'm right on this. I don't care what anybody says. I really don't. You want to paint your house white in the inside when you go to sell your home. I do have a list of paint colors. I'll be happy to provide you, but I'm telling you right now, white is your friend. It photographs well, it's clean. And if the buyer wants to paint their house a different color, they can. And the white color is just kind of like a primer color. But a lot of you like to add all these moody colors. It's not your friend when you go to sell your home. I know you guys are all going to disagree with me. I sell a lot of homes. I know what I'm talking about. And I get to hear what your buyers say. They're always like, oh, I wish they didn't go beige, or I wish they didn't go gray, or why do they paint that green? Ooh, that's a little too rosy. I don't love that. White's your friend, okay? Paint colors listed down below in the resource kit. Number 7 is a lot of you like to install these elaborate window installations, and they're silk, and they're velvet, and they got the shears, and you guys spend a fortune on these things, and they're beautiful, but they do make the room look heavy. It darkens the area, and the reason why you invest in these elaborate window treatments is because when you're watching your Jumbotron TV, you want to close the draperies so that you don't get a glare from the sun outside. So although it's practical, I'm going to tell you right now, when you're going to sell your house, do not invest in these elaborate window treatments. And if you do have those in place, I'm going to suggest you take them all down, stick them out in a box, put your sunglasses on, and go watch your TV. I know I'm being kind of silly here, but I'm serious. One of the hardest things that I do when I'm selling a home is trying to convince the buyers that there's plenty of natural light in the home. Light is your friend, which is the other reason why I'm recommending white paint. Light and bright is fresh. It makes the house look bigger. It looks more open, and buyers have a really hard time visualizing an open, light and bright home. Now, when I bought my home, I got a really good deal on it because it was really dark. They had a lot of heavy draperies, heavy materials, very dark inside. I painted it white, got rid of all the window treatments, opened up, got rid of some plantation shutters. I know I'm not a big fan of plantation shutters either for that reason. Now, I'm not saying don't buy plantation shutters, but a lot of you have those darker plantation shutters and it literally keeps the light out. I'm selling several homes that have these darker plantation shutters. The sellers refuse to get rid of them because they made such a huge investment in them. And the buyers walk in, every single one of them is like, oh, it's so dark in here. I promise you, if we got rid of those, it would be a whole different house. Number 8, I wouldn't invest in a designated formal living room which no one can enter. A lot of you have these in your homes. And when I bring buyers in, they go look at that room and they go, oh, that's just a wasted space. So for me, admittedly, I have a formal living room that only I can go into. I know it's kind of selfish, but if you knew how hard I work, and my husband and my son don't have the same living standard that I do as far as being tidy and clean. And it's the only room that I don't have to share, and I have it perfect. And I go in there, I read a book. It's beautiful. It's like my favorite room in the house. Oh, besides my primary bathroom. I did a video on my primary bathroom, like do not invest in these things in your bathroom. I'll link it right up here. It's a great video, but I love that room and I love the living room. I don't have a lot of control in my life. And so it's the one room that I can control. And, I get to enjoy a glass of wine or read a book, and I really do enjoy that room. But when I'm going to sell homes that have a formal living room, I don't want the buyers to go into that room and go, oh, what a wasted space. So if I were selling my house, or if you have a room that's a designated living room, a formal living room, then I would recommend making it a little bit more purposeful. So maybe you have a game room or an office setting there, or maybe you have some toys for kids, or make it a little bit more useful what you could use in that room. Or maybe you put a TV in there and it could be an additional kids room or a bonus room that kids can do their homework, because a lot of us don't use that room. I'm old school, like I'm older, so I love that formal living room. And admittedly, I have people over to my house pretty regularly. We never go into that room. And I'm grateful they're not in that room because I want it to look perfect. I love my formal living room, but your buyers don't see the value in it. So just something to consider when you're selling your home. If you do have that formal living room, try to think of what else you can make it a little more useful for, rather than just looking pretty. Number 9, and I know I'm really overdoing the TV thing, but let's face it, the family room or your common room, there's probably a TV in there. So let's make sure we don't have cords everywhere. So the one thing I did do right, you can see I don't have any cords, but I'm telling you right now that most of the homes that I'm selling, they're like, whatever, and there's cords everywhere. And then some of you actually have dug into the drywall and then stuck your cable stuff in there, your controller boxes, your stereo speakers, and they're just everywhere. It's just like this big, big mess. So I'm going to tell you, try to get rid of as many cords as you can. Hide it. So where I have all my stuff is right here in this cabinet. See this? I put it all right here, okay? So the tidier your cable stuff is, the better. A lot of you have built-ins that hide that. Hide as many cables as you can. Otherwise, it looks really messy. It looks cheap. So get rid of that immediately. Number 10, don't install these mega aquariums in the family or common room. They're very beautiful. I've sold several homes that have beautiful aquariums in their family room or common room, and y'all think you're going to sit there and enjoy them, and you probably do. But when you go to sell your home, your buyer is worried about the moisture intrusion. They're worried about the smell. They're worried about the care of the fish. I sold this one home that had the most beautiful saltwater aquarium, and I had to go watch his house for a week because they were on vacation. Like, oh my goodness, there's all these water changes, and then the guy has to come, and then there's the frozen food, and then this food, and oh my gosh, it's a full-blown production. And your buyers probably don't really want to do that. And if they do, it's a very specific buyer, and you want to appeal to the masses. So if you're thinking of investing in a full wall install in your family room and it's an aquarium, I'm going to say don't do it. It did kind of smell after a while, by the way. I'm just saying, it's really expensive. If you just have to have your fish, then, do a separate tank somewhere. Now, y'all know that I rescued a goldfish out of my client's fountain. Georgia and Frida are their names. They're darling, and I will show you proof of life right here. Never in a million years did I ever think I was going to be a fish girl, but I really do get enjoyment out of these little guys. I think it's kind of tacky from a design perspective, but it brings me joy. But if I was selling my home, I would probably rehome them temporarily when I was selling my home. So I'm going to make that same suggestion to you. There's just something about aquarium smell, and I know it's in my house, and I don't smell it because I'm acclimated. So I would say no on the aquarium if I were you. I just noticed that I've been swaying through this whole video because I got ants in my pants today. So I'm sorry if I'm making some of you seasick. The next video, I'll be stable. And also, I've been getting a lot of flack from some of my followers that are saying things like, oh, Audra, you're using too much Botox and too much plastic surgery, which, by the way, I'm totally flattered. So, I'm throwing out my age here. I'm 57. And I have a really good light that smooths out my skin. I don't know. It's not looking too good today. I have a really good editor, so I don't know what he does, but I look better in the videos than I do in person. So I thought it'd be kind of fun. This morning, I was, about to put my makeup on. I'm like, yeah, I'll show you. So here's Audra All Natural. I just want you to laugh. I don't take myself serious. And yeah, I probably do need a little extra work. Just kidding, just kidding. I'm about to do a YouTube video, and I've been getting a bunch of flack from y'all telling me I look too plastic and I'm doing too many facelifts and yada yada. So thought I'd show you all natural. Look at this. Yeah, crow's feet. Look at this. The nose, bunny wrinkle. The head port. Look at this. Can you see? Ooh, that's lovely. Look at this. Jowls. Jowls. Look at the neck. Oh, neck. Not good. But I have to be honest. For 57, my skin is actually pretty good because I've been babying it for a long time. And if I get a facelift, something about the ears. I don't know. But I got really cute ears. They're a little small. But yeah, this is Audra All Natural. I know some of you are probably thinking, maybe she should get some work done. But I'm 57, proud of it. Let's carry on, folks. All right, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let me know anything I forgot. All right, have a good one, and I'll see you in next week's video.